Hey guys, it's one amazing person, and today I will be reading Buddy, the First Seeing Eye Dog by Eva Moore and illustrated by Don Bolognese. This has 3 parts. This one is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, then pause this video, go to part 1, and then come back to part 2. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Chapter 4. Lessons. Jack had spent many weeks training Buddy. Now Buddy would have to learn to obey a new master. The lessons began the next day. Jack handed Buddy's harness to Morris. Morris ran his fingers over the long U-shaped handle. That handle is the key to everything, Jack said. When you hold the handle, you will be able to feel when Buddy slows down or changes direction. At first, the harness felt strange to Morris. Pick up the handle with your left hand, Jack said. The dog always works on your left side. Keep your shoulders back and walk fast so you feel a pull on the handle. But don't expect Buddy to know where you want to go. You must tell her. Now, Morris had to learn to speak to Buddy in a voice she would obey. He also had to learn how to take care of Buddy, to brush her coat and fix her food, and how to put on her harness by himself. After all, he would have to do all this when he and Buddy were on their own. Chapter 5. Buddy to the Rescue. Day after day, Morris and Buddy practiced walking around the grounds of Fortunate Fields. Then, one day, Jack said, "I think it's time for a real test. Are you ready to go into the village?" Morris had been waiting for this day. "Let's go!" he said. He took hold of the handle of Buddy's harness and gave the command he had practiced many times. Forward! Buddy and Morris marched down the hill to the gate. When they got there, Buddy stopped. "What's the matter?" Morris asked Jack. "Did I do something wrong?" "But the gate is closed," Jack told him. Buddy just did what she was supposed to do. "Good girl," Morris said, and gave her a pat. Jack opened the gate, and the 3 of them walked down the hill. Every day after that, they walked from Fortunate Fields to the cable car that ran down the mountainside into the village of Vive. In town, they walked along the twisting streets with Morris giving directions and Buddy leading him safely through the traffic. Morris was getting used to the feel of Buddy at the end of that handle. But sometimes he didn't pay attention to the signal she gave him. One day, outside the cable car, Buddy suddenly sat down, but Morris didn't stop. He came crashing down onto some steps. Morris was angry with Jack for not telling him about the steps. "I'm sorry if you hurt yourself, Morris," Jack said. "But you must learn to pay attention to Buddy at all times. Your life may depend on it." One afternoon, on the way home from the village, Morris and Buddy were making their way slowly up the mountain path. Jack was far behind them. Suddenly, Morris heard a wild clatter on the road above and the sound of horses, hoofbeats pounding the ground. Two horses had broken away from their wagon and they were running straight toward Morris. Buddy tugged with all her might as Morris gripped the harness handle. He found himself being pulled up a steep rocky slope along the side of the path. In the next second, he felt the runaway horses rushing past him. Morris fell to his knees and reached out for his dog. Jack came running up. He had barely gotten out of the way himself. "That was a close call," he said. "Lucky for you, Buddy has learned her lessons well. She saved your life." Chapter 6. I'm free! By the end of May, Morris knew every twist and turn of the village streets. He could tell where he was from the sounds and smells in the air. One day, Morris and Buddy went into Vevey alone. "Forward," Morris commanded, and Buddy led him along the main street. Now, Morris could hear the clucking of hens. He knew he was near the poultry shop on the corner. "Left," he said to Buddy. Before long, Morris smelled fresh loaves of bread. They were passing the bakery. "Good," he said to himself. "We're going the right way." Then came the sweet smell of soap and bay rum. "Stop," Morris commanded. "Right." Buddy led him to the barber shop. She waited as Morris had his hair cut. When he got back to Fortunate Fields, Morris sat down in the living room with Buddy at his feet. Suddenly, he laughed out loud. "What's so funny?" Dorothy asked him. Morris said, "Ever since I was 16, someone has had to take me to the barber shop. I've been left there for hours at a time, waiting to be picked up. Today I went out and got my own hair cut and came right back home." Morris laughed again. "Now, I'm sure I am really going to be free. That's why I'm laughing. I'm free!" It was time for Morris to take Buddy home to Nashville. Tennessee's. She would be the first dog guide in America. But she would not be the last. Not if Dorothy and Morris had their way. They made plans to start a new school for dogs in the United States. It would not be easy. Buddy would have to prove to Americans that a dog could be the eyes of a blind person. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked this video. See you guys in part 3.